Hello, I'm Berkman, and I'm going to present our paper with Dr. Catak, the psychometric evaluation of I group presence questionnaire applied in English. So, presence is one of the most important user experience related aspects of virtual reality. Well, there are lots of definitions here from several authors, but I like the last one a lot. An illusion that is perceptual but not cognitive, says Slater. That means that, well, you see it, but you don't believe it. You are not convinced about it. However, this causes an illusion of being there, that is presence. So, in order to define presence, there are several dimensions of presence, several things that might be related with presence. One thing is the spatial presence, the phenomenal sense of being there and automatic responses to spatial cues and mental models of mediated spaces. These are related with spatial presence. The social presence is the mutual interaction with a perceived entity for both content and affective comprehension, and there is some affective and behavioral interdependence with you and this entity. So that would give you the sense of social presence. Engagement is a strong connection with the content and form of the experience. So if you like what I see, or if you are interested in what I see, that is engagement. And realism is twofold. The perceptual realism is related with the virtual objects being experienced as actual objects, and uh, perceiving the environment is acting in the same way that the real world does. And the social realism is related with the narrative, if it's plausible plausible or true to life, and if you think that these events you see in the virtual environment also could occur in the non-mediated world, that's real world, then that is social realism. Unfortunately, the I group presence questionnaire does not measure social presence, and the realism dimension is not related with social realism. But it is related with, there are items about spatial presence, engagement, and realism in it. It's a 14-item questionnaire, originally developed in German language, and there are translations into Farsi and Portuguese, which are psychometrically evaluated. However, the English version, which formed a basis to the French, Dutch, and Japanese translations also, was not psychometrically evaluated. The original scale has 7 Likert items. It's a 7-step Likert scale. In order to assess your agreement with the items, you use a 7-step Likert scale in the original scale. But like the Portuguese version, we decided to use a 5-step Likert scale. So here are the items of the I group presence questionnaire. As you see, there are 14 of them. Some of them are related with this. So I'm just going to give you a second to take a look at them. Now, there is this general presence, that construct, which drives the other aspects of presence, and the items are driven, let's say, by spatial presence, realism, and engagement. In this study, we had 36 participants, and we asked them to engage with 10 different virtual reality experiences in 12 sessions. So here are the experiences, here are the stimuli that we use in this study, the several games which were available and popular between 2015 and 2017 on steampowered.com. Well, the first one and the second one were played again on the 11th and 12th sessions. So these are the virtual environments. So in order to inspect the validity and reliability, we use the partial least squares based confirmatory factor analysis approach, and in order to check out that for reliability, we also check the Cronbach's alpha value and composite reliability, and we also checked for the test reliability by comparing the scores for the first and second sessions and 11th and 12th sessions through some paired sample t-tests, and also with the Pearson correlations, checking out the Pearson correlations. We also checked IPQ for test reliability, and also we checked for its sensitivity to its capability of distinguishing different gains from each other through a series of ANOVAs. But we excluded the last two sessions data, and we ran this analysis on 368 data points. Well, we decided to remove 3 items of the scale from the original 14 items. We retained 11 items because these 3 items did not load on their intended dimensions, or did not load any of the dimensions actually strongly. That means that there is a lot of measurement error in those items, so we just remove them from scale. But when we remove them from scale, the loadings of the other items and the relations between the dimensions, the loadings of the dimensions to the general presence did not change a lot. There was not a much difference. So we can say that the measurement capability of the scale is decreased by this way. Actually, it's increased because of the items that have measurements error are excluded from the scale. So also we achieved the discriminant validity according to Fornell-Larker criterion. The 14-item scale was not capable of measuring, did not have a discriminant validity for the spatial presence. So the square root of the average variance of spatial presence was lower than the correlation between the spatial presence and general presence. So this is the square root of the average variance, and this is general presence, and this is spatial presence. This is their correlation. This should be higher than the correlation between them. By dropping the items, we achieved that. Now we say that general presence is something different from spatial presence. We can say this. So we achieve discriminant validity. Another indicator of discriminant validity is heterotrait monotrait ratio, and also there is this HTMT.90 and HTMT85. The heterotrait monotrait ratio between involvement and spatial presence was greater than 0.90 for the 14 item. The light blue bars are 14 item scales HTMT values. But when we remove some items, now it is below the threshold of 0.85. And it's the same for general presence, spatial presence, HTMT ratio. So also this is another indicator of discriminant validity, that our scale with 11 items has a better discriminant validity compared to the 14 item version based on our data set. Well, the other quality criteria was average variance extracted above 0.5 indicates the convergent validity. The initial version with the letter I here, it was not possible to achieve that. But with the final version, we achieved the convergent validity thresholds also. And also, removing the items increased the reliability of the scale, composite reliability, Dillon-Goldstein's rule, and even the Cronbach's alpha had increased, indicating that our scale is a reliable measurement tool. When we check out the test reliability, there is a significant difference both in 11 item versions and 14 item versions when we compare the first and second and 11th and 12th sessions. There is significant difference. There's a significant correlation between the measurements. Well, the correlation was a little bit higher with the 14 items. The measurement as the correlation has decreased in our version. Well, not too much. There is not a great decrease, but there is a decrease. But you can still say that there is test reliability between these two versions. And here are the results for the t-tests, suggesting that there is no significant difference on these. However, there is a significant difference on the involvement between the first and second sessions and the 11th and 12th sessions. Well, actually the involvement score has increased here on both tests, on both versions, even the 11 item or 14 item version, it doesn't matter. There is a significant difference between the first measurement and second measurement of involvement. And actually we think that that is interesting, and we cannot explain that actually, because it's the second time that they are playing the same game, but looks like they got more involvement. The participants got more involvement on the second time they played the same game. That is an interesting result, and based on our data we cannot explain that. So here the data shows that the scores are, the mean scores are different for each games, for involvement, for realism, and even the both the final version and initial version are capable of providing significantly different scores between those games. The ANOVA results indicate that there are significant difference between the scores of the games. However, although the first and last games and first 4 games and the last 4 games, the lowest score 4 games and the highest score 2 games are similar, there are some minor differences between those 4 games in terms of ranking. They are in a different order, both in 14 and 11, both for involvement and realism, when the 11 version, final version, and the initial 14 versions were compared. And it is similar for the overall score too. The second and third games are different when they are ordered. There is a difference between these two versions, but the difference between the points are quite small actually. However, on this one, for the special process, the first 4 games are not same. The order has changed a lot for the first 4 games. So we have managed to psychometrically evaluate the English version, and our model is resembling the model used in the German version. Actually, the Persian and Portuguese version use a different model. This G1 item, they use it as a component of special presence, but here we use the model suggested in the original German version. And by dropping these 3 items, by eliminating these 3 items, we achieved a better convergent validity, better, higher reliability, and preserved the discriminant validity, actually increased the discriminant validity of the scale, and there is not a lot of difference on the sensitivity of the scale when we drop these 3 items. So our study can be criticize it for its sample size. We had only these 36 participants, who were engaged with 10 different stimuli in 12 different sessions. Well, these 36 participants can be said that it's not adequate for representing the general population, neither for their demographic variation nor the different personal differences and attributes, because the presence is a subjective thing, and to assess a presence scale can be suggested that there is a need for a larger group of participants. And also another criticism could be that our participants are not native speakers, but it should be kept in mind that the English language scales are usually used with native speakers along with non-native speakers too. So we suggest researchers to continue using the 14-item version, but report both for 14 and 11-item versions because the 11-item version is psychometrically validated and proven to be better than the 14-item versions. And also we suggest researchers to share their data for the future evaluations of IPQ in terms of psychometric evaluation. When a IPQ is used in a within subjects design research with multiple evaluations, including the same participants, some items could be a little bit tricky for the participants. So since they read it, since they get familiar with those items, two of the items are worded in the same manner, and the researchers should take care of this and be careful about the problems regarding to those items. Thank you for listening. That is where my presentation ends. Goodbye.